Now we'll be performing OTDR testing on our MPO ribbon cable using our Cable-SLM app in labeling mode. This is the method you would use if you're going to do a number of cables, if there's a multiple cable job that you have to do. So the first thing you have to do before you go to your OTDR is create what's called a label file. And all this is something you can create in Microsoft Excel, and it's just a list of the names you're going to assign to each of your cables. So here I've just assigned names for 12 cables. And now when you go to save the file, be sure to save it not as a Microsoft Excel file, but as a CSV file. And now let's go to our T-Bird 4000. So I've already downloaded my CSV file into my T-Bird, and it's ready for use. So from the 4000 homepage, again, make sure your Expert OTDR and your MPO switch icons are activated. Let's go to Setup. Just make sure your OTDR parameters are where you want them, same as last time, so we're good there. Same thing, let's go to File Setup. The file directory is the same. It's going to create a new project folder for this new project that we're going to do in labeling mode. And I still have Auto Store selected, which means test results will automatically get saved as soon as the test is done. So now let's go to Link Cable Setup. Click on the project information window. And we are going to choose labeling mode. So last time we did numbering mode, which is what you would use if you're going to test a number of fibers. Labeling mode is what we're going to use because we're going to test a certain number of cables. And we want to identify those cables individually. So here under fiber count, you can choose the cable configuration. So in the interest of time, let's choose MPO 8 out of 12. And we're ready to go. So it's going to prompt us. We're going to choose import label list. So we're going to choose that CSV file that I created. And now we're going to create our project. Click on yes. And it's prompting us for a project name, so let's call this Project L for labeling. And now we have a new scoreboard here. So this one, it lists all our cables using the cable names that we specified in that CSV file. And if we expand the view on one of them, it gives you a little scorecard for each of the individual fibers. And you can see because we chose the 8 out of 12 cable configuration, we're not going to bother testing the 4 middle fibers. So it's going to go through 1 through 4, and then it's going to skip right to 9. So there's two ways to do this test. You can keep this expanded view open, and it'll go through and shoot each fiber and then prompt you if you want to move on to the next one. Alright, we're going to do this the fast way. We're going to close the expanded view, and we're going to start the test, and it's going to go through and shoot those 8 fibers without prompting us. So depending on how you set the OTDR up and what acquisition time you use, this will take about 20 to 30 seconds per fiber, so it could take 4 or 5 minutes. So we'll just let this go through. I'm creating this video using our Smart Access Anywhere application. If you go to the 4000 homepage, you might have noticed the Smart Access icon up top here. What this application allows you to do is to tunnel into a T-Bird anywhere in the world. As long as your T-Bird is connected to the internet, you can pull off an alphanumeric code from the T-Bird and then provide it to a colleague at a remote location. And then he's running his Smart Access Anywhere application on his laptop. He can punch in that alphanumeric code, and then from there he can tunnel right into your T-Bird. And not just see your screen, but he can also push buttons and drive it remotely. So in my setup here today, I have my T-Bird on the desk right next to me, but I could be doing this from anywhere in the world, really. So it's a really neat and helpful application. It's useful primarily for remote coaching, but you can also use it for software downloads and other things as well. So let's go back and see how our results are coming along. We're on fiber number 3. So after this, it's going to jump to fiber number 9, just like we set it up. So other methods you can use to do OTDR testing on MPO ribbon cabling is to use an Mpo Fan-Out Cable, which is simply a cable with MPO on one end and 12 individual fibers on the other. But unfortunately what this entails is doing 12 or 24 clean and inspect cycles on each one of those individual fibers before you plug them into your OTDR port. So it's a very slow and laborious method of doing it. There's also at least one external handheld MPO switch out there on the market. You can connect it via USB cable, and VIAVI offers that solution as well. But it's not integrated with our Cable-SLM application. The beauty of this solution is it's just one thing to carry. It's our T-Bird 4000 mounted with our MPO switch and an OTDR module. So it's one thing to carry, fully integrated with the Cable-SLM app for maximum workflow efficiency and speed. And last fiber. Alright, so it went through all the fibers in the first cable, and now it's prompting us if we want to move on to the next cable. Alright, so we could do that, but tell you what, for now, let's say no. And let's check out what happened with this first cable. So everything passed, it's all highlighted in green. Again, we grayed out the 4 middle fibers, we didn't test them, because that's how we set it up. But let's say we want to look at fiber 4. Same deal as in numbering mode. Just go down here, you select fiber number 4, and click on View Fiber Test. And it gives you the trace for fiber number 4. And as before in numbering mode, you can also go back and retest any one individual fiber, or you can also just throw one out. You can select fiber number 4 and just say Disable Fiber Test, and it'll throw the result out. Alright, so let's go to our file directory. And all the results are laid out for us here in table format with indications of whether it passed or failed. And that's it. And as before, if we're happy with our project, be sure to close it. You need to do that before you can start another project or do anything else. And that's it. So that's how you use Cable-SLM in labeling mode to perform OTDR testing on MPO on a number of MPO cables.